Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap, and today we will study about plant nutrition. This particular topic, it is important for all the examination that are related to agriculture. For example, NABARD, FCI, ICAR, JRF, IBPS, AFO and other such examinations. So before starting, to our new audience, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also join our Telegram channel to get the PDF of this particular lecture and every lecture that we provide on YouTube. And the link of our Telegram channel, it is given below in the description box. And currently we are offering 40% off on our NABARD grade A course, and to avail this offer you have to use the code NABARD40, and this particular offer, it is valid till 15th of October 2021. So before starting, let us just see from the previous year question papers that of different examination of agriculture, that what kind of questions can be asked from this particular topic. Here what we have done, we have looked for, we have just given you an idea. There are many questions that have come from this particular chapter every year or every second year, but just to have an overview, we have included only one question from each of the section for the better understanding. So here you can see, for example, which of the following is a micronutrient. You have been given 4 options. This is in IBPS AFO. In JRF, the similar question about whiptail of a cauliflower, it is a disorder that is caused by due to the deficiency of one of the following element, and this is a part of plant nutrition only. And then in NABARD also we have faced the similar question, that is about the deficiency. What are the effects that the plant show when it is deficient in one of the following element? Right, so such type of questions are asked. What we will do, we will answer it at last when you will be you will be able to answer that, and I won't tell you the answer. So the concept of this particular new series is to have a better overview of agriculture topics that are important for all the examination. So let's get started. So first of all is, what is soil fertility? Alright, so before understanding about plant nutrition and what are their importance, let us first go for soil fertility. So soil fertility is nothing but what? When the soil, it is able to supply essential nutrients. So when a soil, it is able to supply all the essential nutrients that are important for the plant growth, that is known as what? That particular soil is considered to be fertile, or this is known as what? This is known as soil fertility, right? And one more thing is there, without toxic concentration. What is toxic concentration? That particular element that we are talking about, the important for the growth of the plant, that should not be present in excess. That should not be present in excess, because if it would be present in excess, it would retard the growth of the plant and it would become toxic. So there should be no toxicity of the soil, right? So that is known as soil fertility. And here toxicity would also include all the salts that are present in the soil, which are not good for the plant's growth. Now plants, usually they have 90 elements that they contain, but 17 of them, they are considered to be essential and they are important, right? And these 17 elements are further classified into macronutrients and micronutrients, depending on what amount they are needed by the plant. Macronutrients, they are needed in much larger quantity, while in micronutrient they are required in lesser quantity. We'll look at them one by one. Alright, so before understanding what are those 17 elements, let's first know that what are the areas, what is the criteria that we would say that yes, this particular element is essential. See, we have already studied that there are approx 90 elements that are present in plant, but only 17 are important, right? So on what basis have we said that these 17 elements, they are essential, and why we have excluded or we have differentiated them from the rest? All right, so Anand and Stout, these two are known as the people who have given the the criteria of essentiality, that they were the one why it is written two time, R-none is written two time, because once they together they have made a particular criteria, then again R-none in 1952 he modified them, right? So that is why R-none is written two times. So R-none and Stout, do remember their name, it can be important. Which who proposed what? They proposed criteria of essentiality, all right? And what are those criteria? First one says the deficiency of the element. Deficiency means when the particular element it is in a lesser amount than required, results in failure to complete the life cycle. Life cycle of what? Life cycle of plant. All right. So what does it mean? If there is deficiency, see there are 17 elements, but if from those 17, 16 are in optimum amount but one is in less amount, right? So even because of that, because that element it is in lesser amount, the plant would not be able to complete its cycle. For example, if I give you a common example, for example, if you are making chapatis or rotis, right? You have flour, you have gas, you have tawa for making it, for baking it, but if you do not have water to make it into a dough, then the process would be incomplete, right? Similarly, if this plant it does not have that particular nutrient, the plant would not be able to complete life cycle. So such elements, the deficiency, whose deficiency causes the failure in completing the life cycle, they are known as what? They are known as essential elements. Second says deficiency of element in question can be corrected only by using supplying that particular element. Means, for example, if zinc is lesser in quantity, only zinc would be able to fulfill that loss. No other element can compensate that. For example, again I am giving common example, general example, which you can understand better. For example, if somebody wants to drink a guava juice, but if guava juice is not available, the person is feeling like drinking a juice, but guava juice is not available, so he went for orange juice. Means there was some other element, some other juice that compensated the loss of the guava juice, right? So that is the case where one thing can compensate or correct the deficiency of other. But in these cases where the element can be corrected only by providing that particular supply, right? For example, if person says I want, first of all the person said I want to drink a juice, then there was random things, anything can compensate. But if the person is adamant that no, I want to drink guava juice only, then nothing else can compensate that. Or per se, for example, during the cases of dengue, kiwi is advised to eat, right? So kiwi, the whatever importance of kiwi is, it cannot be compensated by any other. So look at it that way. Next is the element must directly be involved in the nutrition and metabolism of the plant. Okay, so this particular element that we are talking about, it should be directly involved in the metabolism, means in the proper growth and functioning of plant. It should not be indirectly involved somehow. It should be directly, its effect should be direct on the plant. Its deficiency should have direct effect, its availability should have direct effect, right? So those on those basis we have classified 18, right? So what are the those 17 that you can see on the slide? These carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, see these three, they form the basic structure, and we can go for these constitute approx 96% of the dry matter. Do remember this, we are printing dry matter of the plant. Dry matter is nothing but, you can say, the basic composition that it has, physical portion that we touch, excluding water and everything, the dried portion, the dry matter, it is known as what? It is constituent of CHO, that is carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Now looking for the rest, we are further divided into, see, those primary and secondary both are called macro nutrients because they are required in larger quantity, while this is the micronutrients. Micro, again we have primary nutrients, secondary nutrients. Primary means they are they have more functions to perform, and they are more required, and that is why they are primary. Means they are giving preference, then secondary are these. So in primary we have nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. In secondary we have calcium, magnesium, sulfur. And in micronutrients we have boron, chlorine, copper, iron, manganese, molybdenum, zinc and nickel. Okay, so what our approach for this particular topic would be, in this in today's part, what we are going to do, we are going to study about the importance or what are the functions of these nutrients. And in our second part that is going to be uploaded tomorrow, what you can do, in that we will go for what are the diseases or the disorders would be the right word, what are the disorders that are caused by due to deficiency of diseases as well as due to excess of these diseases. All right, so this particular video, it would be in two parts. First, let's go for the nitrogen. Those are the macronutrients that we have. Nitrogen, it is a major component of protein, hormone, chlorophyll, vitamins and enzymes. See, these whatever I have said, protein, hormones, enzymes, vitamins, they have a basic chemical structure. Alright, even if it is vitamin A, B, C, D or anything, they have a proper chemical structure, and in that chemical structure nitrogen is essential. So for the formation of protein, nitrogen is needed. Hormones, enzymes, vitamins, everything we needed. And in fact, in this particular pigment chlorophyll, that is important for what? For photosynthesis, nitrogen is needed. Nitrogen metabolism is a major factor in vegetative growth. Vegetative growth means growing of stem, growing of leaves. In that nitrogen plays a major role. Next comes phosphorus. Phosphorus is what? It is necessary for seed germination. What is seed germination? See, if this is a seed, it is it's just a seed. It is in dormant state. It is inactive. When this inactivities break and this now seed, it starts to grow, leaf starts to emerge, and it would start to convert into seedling. Then it is known as what? It is known as seed germination. Next comes photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is making up of food. The plants, when they make food, the process is called photosynthesis. So phosphorus, it plays a major role in that. For protein formation, now do not get confused that here in nitrogen is also is used for protein formation, and we are saying phosphorus also, because while performing a particular task there can be a situation when more than one nutrients are required, and that is why these are the macronutrients. They are required in larger amount because they have more functions to perform. And almost all aspects of growth and metabolism in plants. So metabolism for growth and other metabolism aspect, phosphorus is important. That is why it is a primary nutrient, and it is essential for flower and fruit formation. While the formation of flower and fruit, phosphorus is required. Next is potassium. For potassium, it is necessary for formation of sugar, starches, carbohydrate, protein and cell division in roots and other part of the plant. Alright, so see here you will find the PDF in Telegram also. Just go through it once. Here all the functions have been written. So for potassium also, whatever it is part of the basic structure of sugar, starch, carbohydrate, protein, whatever that is present inside a plant at microscopic level, cellular level, I would say. And it helps in cell division also. Cell division is when one cell it divides into, breaks into two parts for the growth, right? Potassium also helps in adjust water balance. To adjust water balance, if there is excess, it would shift in such a way water that whatever amount that is important for plant, only that remains. Improves stem rigidity. Rigidity is nothing but how rigid or how stiff the plant is. Cold hardiness. Cold hardiness is how much it is resistant to the cold. Then enhances flavor and color on fruits and vegetable. Potassium, it also helps to enhance flavor and color. Increase oil content of fruit, and it is important for leafy crops. So it has see, you can see it has a major role to play. There are so many things that it does, not only with the flavor and color, but also it improves or increase the oil content, and it is very important for leafy crops also. Next comes sulphur. That is also macronutrient, and it is helpful in amino acid, component of amino acid. Amino acid, what? It is the basic structure of protein. So when many amino acids, they come together, they bind together we say that a protein has been formed. All right, so it also helps in protein formation because amino acid, again, it is the basic structure. So if amino acid sulfur helps, so obviously in protein also it would help. Vitamins, enzymes, and it is essential to produce chlorophyll. So for making of chlorophyll, sulfur is required. It imparts flavor to many vegetables. It also imparts flavor. Magnesium, critical structure component, chlorophyll, it helps in chlorophyll formation, and again then necessary for functioning of plant enzyme, carbohydrate, sugar, fat. See, in examination, if a particular thing, for example, if sulfur has been asked, that which of the following is essential to produce chlorophyll, they would never do that. They would give sulfur also, and again they would give nitrogen also. Here, see this. It would never happen that. They would only provide one option in the following solution options, because they also know that 2 cannot be the answer. If or otherwise, they would have one more option which would say A and B both. So do not get worried that what if the question asks something that requires more than one answer. That would be accordingly. Next comes calcium. Calcium helps in what? It activates enzymes. All right. Structural component of cell wall. Plants, they have a additional outline, that is the cell wall, that is to protect the cell because they cannot move, right? Plants, that is why cell wall is there, and influence water movement in cells and is necessary for cell growth and division. Okay, it is important for cell growth and breakdown of the cell. And some plants, they must have calcium to take up nitrogen and other minerals. This is not compulsory in every plant, but yes, in some plant, calcium, it is helpful for what? For taking up of nitrogen and minerals. Next, now we have come to micronutrients. Macronutrients we have covered. Micronutrients we'll cover now. First is iron. It is necessary for many enzyme functions. Okay, many enzyme functions are needed or are helped with the iron. As a catalyst, what is a catalyst? Basically, if some process is going on, but to initiate that process or to speeden up the process, a particular element is required, and that element is known as catalyst. So here iron, it acts as what? Catalyst for the synthesis of chlorophyll. See, for chlorophyll, micronutrients, they usually help the macronutrients, usually in cases, right? For example, see here what we have seen for chlorophyll, we have heard 2 names. One is nitrogen, next was sulfur, right? But the catalyst, or to speeden up the process or to initiate the process, what is required? Iron is required. Right, can you understand the importance of micronutrients? Micronutrients, they are needed in trace amount, very less, but they have a major role to play. If iron would not be there, this catalyzing this process of the synthesis of chlorophyll will not take place. What is synthesis? Synthesis is nothing but just to make. To make means synthesis. It is essential for young growing parts of plant. So iron, it has a major role to play in the younger part of the plants. Then come manganese. Manganese is involved in enzyme activity, and which kind of activities? That is essential for photosynthesis, that is to make food. Respiration, respiration is what? When you take in oxygen and you give out carbon dioxide. And nitrogen metabolism. All right. Next is boron. Boron is helpful for cell wall formation, necessary for cell wall formation. Okay. Membrane integrity means all the membranes, they are intact together. Calcium intake, to uptake calcium, boron is important. If boron would not be there, calcium plant would not be able to intake the calcium. So our calcium, that is macronutrient, macro because it is needed in larger quantity, but it is boron which helps to intake it. Okay. Then may aid in the translocation of sugars. Boron affect at least 16 functions in plants. So boron, it affects 16 function in plants, some of which are flowering. During flowering, boron helps. For pollen germination, it helps. Fruiting, cell division, and water relationship among the movement of hormones. It helps in the movement of hormones as well. Next comes zinc. In zinc we have, it is a component of enzyme or functional cofactor of a large number of enzymes. Similar things like it helps in it is a factor, it is a part of auxin, which is a plant growth hormone. We have, it is essential for carbohydrate metabolism, protein and stem growth. What is internodal? Internodal means you must have observed in stems there are few points like this. These are called nodes. So internodal means between two nodes, that is known as internode. So zinc help in this internode. Next comes copper, and for copper we have it's concentrated in roots and plants of plants. So this copper we can observe it into the root zone of plants, and it plays a major role in nitrogen metabolism. So it helps the nitrogen for the metabolism purpose. It is component of several enzymes and may be a part of enzymes that carbohydrates. Same thing we are looking at. Some are different, some are same. You must remember in such things you must remember, for example, in last only that we have covered that iron, it is important for it acts as a catalyst of chlorophyll. So this point you should know, right? Similarly, there are specific things that you can see here that you should know. For example, boron, it helps in the movement of hormone. Now that is the catch point, that if asked that which helps in the movement of hormones. Hormones, you are looking at every second nutrient that it function is involved in hormone synthesis. But in boron we are looking at that this is important for the movement of hormones. So these are the catchphrase that you have to look at, which are important from examination point of view. All right. Next one, molybdenum. In molybdenum, it is also important in structural component that reduces nitrates to ammonia. Okay. So this particular molybdenum, it helps in what? It helps, it is a component of those enzymes that helps to reduce nitrates into ammonia, which helps to break down nitrate into a simpler form, and that simpler form is what? That simpler form is ammonia. So this again, it is a point that is very strong, and that is very important, right? Because molybdenum here important is what? That it is if asked that which element helps in reduction of ammonia from nitrates, then you should know that, oh, this is molybdenum. So these are the phrases that you have to look at. See, another important point, without it the synthesis of proteins is blocked. If molybdenum is not there, production of protein will not take place. It is such an important point to become. Okay, so if asked in question, so now question can be asked what? Which of the due to the absence of which of the following element protein synthesis cannot take place? Then the answer is molybdenum, right? You're looking at what kind of questions can be asked. Next comes chlorine. It involves in osmosis. Osmosis is nothing but it is the movement of water or solute in cell while moving from inside to outside of cell, then outside to inside of cell. It helps to balance the ionic balance. Ions are what? Na plus, K plus, right? Cl minus. These are the ions, and it helps to balance that. Chlorine. To take up mineral element and in photosynthesis. In photosynthesis also it helps. Next comes the nickel. It is required for the enzyme urease. You have to look at the word urease. Urease is an enzyme. Okay, and this urease enzyme, so nickel is required for this formation, for the formation of urease. Okay. Now this urease helps to do what? It helps to break down urea to liberate nitrogen. Right, initially what we did? Initially we did which one? We did of molybdenum. That in molybdenum nitrates divides to ammonia with the help of molybdenum. Because it is involved, it is the part of that enzyme, right? But in case of nickel, helps in to break down urea to what? To liberate nitrogen. I hope you get my point. And it is also important for iron absorption. See, for nitrogen and sulfur, they are important in the formation of chlorophyll, but it needed help of iron. Here we are looking at that nickel, it helps in the absorption of iron. Everything is interconnected, and that is why each of these metals, they are essential for the plants to grow, because they help the plant in a one way or another. They help elements to perform their function, right? So here it helps in the absorption of iron, and seed, they also need nickel in order to germinate. Next comes sodium. It involves an osmotic and ionic balance. It also helps in, see, sodium is Na, right? Chlorine is Cl minus. They add and become what? They become NaCl. So if negative part is more, sodium will play a role. If positive ions are there, then chlorine will do the part. All right. So when cations, positive ions are generally, in these cases, they are known as cations. So when cations are there, anion would help. If anions are there, cations would help. Alright, so this is all for today. Tomorrow what we'll do, we'll go for the next section of this particular video, part 2, which would involve or the deficiency or the diseases that are caused by the disorders that are caused by the deficiency or excess of the nutrients. We'll have proper pictures to show how they look, so do not miss that video. Here in this we can for now attempt this one question, which is, which of the following is a micronutrient? And the answer to this is what? The answer to this is iron, because these are what? These are macronutrients, where because they are required in larger quantity, right? This, for this and this, you have to watch the next video, because it involves the deficiencies causes what kind of disorders. I hope you understood this topic well, and for part 2 we'll cover the rest of the thing. Until then, thank you. Keep study hard.